Isabel May was thrust into the spotlight when she was cast in the Netflix original series Alexa and Katie. Since her rookie year, Isabel May has beefed out her filmography with additional starring roles, establishing herself as one of Hollywood's hottest up-and-comers in the process. But while audiences adore Isabel May, the rising star, they don't know a whole lot about Isabel May, the person. We're about to change all of that with this video. Today, we're going to be looking at the young actress's life behind the scenes, discussing her hobbies, her inspirations, and her goals outside of Hollywood. Alexa, tell us some dirt about Katie. Here are 10 surprising facts you need to know about Isabel May. Number 10. Unexpected encouragement. Historically, teachers have not been viewed as ambassadors for creativity. To the contrary, school teachers are typically presented as stuck-up academics concerned only with making their students keep their noses firmly rooted in their textbooks. Sure, there are probably some teachers who live up to this tired old Hollywood trope, but the reality is that most of them want to nourish the imaginations of their students. This is something Isabel May can personally confirm. When May started 6th grade, her teacher was quick to pick up on her creativity. In fact, she was so impressed by her new student's penchant for the arts that she suggested she take drama classes. After consulting with her parents, the young May decided to do just that. And the rest, as they say, is history. Number 9. 3 years a reject. Despite her striking good looks and obvious acting chops, Isabel May struggled to find work when she first began her career. And when we say struggled, boy oh boy do we mean she struggled. May wasn't just unsuccessful in 1 or 2 screen tests, as she tried to find her footing. No, she was unsuccessful in a full 3 years worth of auditions. That's right, for 3 years straight, the budding actress tried out for roles only to be rejected time and time again. Such repeated rejection would cause even the most determined performer to reconsider their career path. But Isabel May was steadfast in her self-belief. Unwilling to walk away from her dream, she kept pushing forward and attending auditions until finally, in 2018, producers at Netflix recognized her talent and gave her the starring role in Alexa and Katie. The success of the series prompted a landslide of acting offers, and May has not looked back since. Number 8. Homeschool hero. Isabel May's career has been defined by her unwavering self-belief, a quality she has in droves, even by Hollywood actress standards. In fact, you could make the argument that the only people who believe in May's talent more than she does are her parents. Much like her 6th grade teacher, Isabel's parents knew that their daughter had the potential to be a star and were willing to do whatever it took to get her to the top of the industry. That isn't to say that they were pushy, far from it, but they were always there to cover the cost of her acting classes or to drive her to one of her many auditions. Even when it looked as though their daughter was doomed to a career of failed auditions, the future star's parents never lost faith in her. In fact, they doubled down and pulled her out of school in 10th grade so she could focus on her career in show business. Some people might view this as a pretty drastic measure, but you can't argue with the results. And May's parents sure did get results. Just 6 months into her homeschooling, she had her first successful audition. Don't you hate it when your parents are right? Number 7. Dedicated hobbyist. While acting has been the center of Isabel May's world for much of her life, it is far from her only passion. In interviews, the star has revealed a number of other interests and talents, chief among them being reading. May has described herself as a marathon reader, proclaiming she would read all day and night if she didn't have acting commitments to uphold.
I read all kinds of books, sci-fi, nonfiction, historical works.
She is also handy in the kitchen, having outed herself as an avid baker and cook in an interview with Bello magazine. Finally, she is a fan of music and is said to be proficient in piano. Number 6. Faith who? As we mentioned in the previous entry, Isabel May is a big fan of music. But it's important to remember that she is only 21. To her, Eminem is a golden oldie, and Elton John is a chubby dude who sings on Dua Lipa's latest single for some reason. It should come as no surprise, then, that May wasn't entirely sure who Faith Hill was when the two were cast together in 1883.
What was it like having Tim and Faith as parents in a show? That's crazy.
Kind of incredible. I mean, Tim knows this already, so this isn't a big shock to him, but I didn't know who they were.
Wait, what?
Yes. I didn't know that they were big.
What rock did you live under? What?
I know.
Likewise, she was unfamiliar with Hill's real-life husband, Tim McGraw, whom she also worked with on the series. According to May herself, the country music megastars were not insulted by her being unacquainted with their work. If anything, they found it charming, and the trio has since grown to be as close as the family they portray on screen.
And you get to share the screen a lot with her husband, Tim McGraw, as well. Now, going into this project, were you a big Tim and Faith fan?
Nope, she didn't know any of our songs.
Stop it.
She still hasn't heard a dead gum one.
I know, but no, I'm actively not listening to any of their music just because they're
She
Tim and
doesn't need
Faith.
to.
They're Tim and Faith, mom and dad Tim and Faith. They're
Yeah.
not Tim and Faith, sing beautiful, incredible singer Tim and Faith.
Number 5. Not yet an adult. At 21, Isabel May has legally been an adult for the past 3 years. But as everybody over the age of 21 knows, 21 is far from adulthood. At this age, the brain is still not fully formed and cannot quite comprehend the realities nor process the emotions of adult life. In fact, the contemporary scientific consensus is that the human brain isn't fully formed until the age of 25. So you can forgive yourself for all the stupid stuff you did when you were 24 and a half. It wasn't your fault, you were just a child. Most 21-year-olds detest being referred to as anything other than a card-carrying adult, and will insist that they are fully mature and perfectly capable of making responsible decisions. Isabel May, however, seems to be fully aware of her youth and vulnerability. In the same Bello magazine interview we mentioned a little earlier, the actress was asked about the challenges of being a young adult in Hollywood, to which she responded, "I don't think I can even be categorized as a young adult quite yet." We hope May continues to hold onto this childlike innocence for as long as she can, and doesn't go the way of so many tragic entertainers who make it big at an early age. Number 4. Not a naturally funny person. Just as Isabel May doesn't consider herself to be an adult just yet, she also does not consider herself to be a naturally funny person. This will likely come as a shock to those who are familiar with her work on Alexa and Katie and Young Sheldon. May's roles on these shows were her first and second acting gigs respectively. Both were sitcoms, and on them she showed clear comedic prowess in bringing to life their sometimes lackluster written material. She could take even the most contrived, cringe-inducing gag and turn it into something special. But while her aptitude for humor was not lost on audiences, May herself was completely blind to it. When discussing her role in Alexa and Katie, she even went as far to say, quote, "It was weird and interesting, because I never thought I had any comedic qualities whatsoever." Of course, there was always the possibility that she's actually fully aware of her comedic talents and intended this comment to be some kind of meta joke. Number 3. Her favorite shows. While May doesn't consider herself funny, she certainly does have a good sense of humor and has listed a number of classic comedies as being among her all-time favorite television. She has expressed fondness for Arrested Development multiple times in the past, as well as a number of Netflix original sitcoms, although that might simply be an attempt to stay loyal to the studio that gave her her big break. But May's watch library doesn't consist entirely of comedy. She is also a fan of documentaries and dramas, so it makes sense that her absolute favorite series is The Crown, which combines both of these genres. Would you like to see May herself make an appearance on The Crown someday? If so, which member of Britain's royal family would you cast her as? Let us know in the comments section. Number 2. A little social media shy. Like most women her age, Isabel May has a number of social media accounts. Unlike most women her age, however, she is not particularly active on any of them. Her Instagram account contains of just 5 posts, the first of which was made in January 2020, with the most recent coming in February of this year. While she does have a TikTok account, it's pretty much bare and seems to have been created prior to her worldwide success, as it remains unverified. It's likely that May has a few secret social media accounts which she uses to communicate with her friends and family, but her fans must be content with the occasional Instagram photo. Hey, we'll take it! Number 1. A proud francophile. Although May is a self-confessed homebody, she has also expressed a love for traveling in a number of interviews. On more than one occasion, she has talked about her desire to one day tour Europe, a dream of which she will no doubt have the riches to fulfill. But of all the countries on the continent, none have captured the young actress's heart as much as France. As a child, May visited a rural village in France and fell in love with the culture and scenery. She was so taken with the French way of life that she immediately set about learning the national language after returning to America. Her passion for La France has certainly not dimmed over the years, and we bet any of those notorious stoic French filmmakers would jump at the chance to work with her. And that does it for 10 facts you need to know about Isabel May. Which did you find the most surprising, and why? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more shocking revelations about celebs that you love.